Hi, I want to go through the trades of the day for today, the 15th of April, from 14th to the 15th. These blue lines indicate the daily turnover. We're going to start with a little bit of context. Obviously, we have this large downtrend for many days. And the most recent part, if we're going to keep this on our screen like this, is this really strong dump here, almost within a channel, right? I mean, not almost, it is within a channel. We hit this level, which is not a relevant level for many days, but perhaps on a higher time frame. I mean, for these we don't go above the 5-minute chart. We want to stay on the 5-minute chart. We put in a low, retest that low, hold that low, break this trend line with nice strength, retest that low, again hold that low, double bottom, and then we end up pumping into this level, which is about halfway between 4,200 and about 2,100 thereabouts. So yeah, about halfway back, about a 50% retracement. We put in this kind of wedge-ish formation kind of thing, and then reject, and then roll over and dump sharply, yet again sharply. Put in a second level low, and now we bounce at this level, which was the last higher low from here. And again, yeah, we bounced off of this double bottom. We put in this double bottom bull flag here and pumped, and then we respected that low again. So to open the day, we're kind of in this weird, almost channel-y situation. And I mean, this is part of the reason why we do this. I'm not particularly experienced at trading these like channel-y trading ranges. I'm a lot better at straight trends. But that's okay. This is how we improve. So we have this kind of channel here. It starts as a channel up here, and then concludes as a channel down here. Evolves into a kind of a channel down here, and then concludes with a tap of the high, and rejects down. And as we can see here, this is the low of the day, and from here we're just running pretty much the rest of the day. So the first opportunity for a trade following this is our reversal candle. It is a figure 2 from, I guess it's in the Discord. You guys might not know that figure 2. It's like my own design thing. Anyway, push down, takes the low here. This was kind of the last low of the channel of the prior day. Bounce at that level and puts in the low of the day for us. So this was a decent enough push. I feel like it's tough to take this trade, but when we get this bounce here, this is something that is takeable. At least after we get a little pullback, we have a good follow through. Again, we come back to this level, double bottom bull flag. So somewhere within here, and if not, maybe not here, then maybe here, you can get long. And if you don't get long here, then probably when we have this kind of pullback here, because now we are putting in a little bit of a channel here. But it is, it's just, since we have this strong dump and we have this much time following it, and this was a sideways little final flag, triangular final flag. And usually when you have a triangle, it's going to be the final flag of the move. So we're already feeling like we are possibly putting in some sort of reversal. So to get in here is great. We have sharp push up, pullback, sharp push up, pullback, sharp push up. And then when we get this pullback that looks pretty strong in terms of 4 consecutive bear candles, but they aren't never able to take out this low. And this is the one where it really looks like, okay, the next one we're probably going to take out the low, and then we don't take out the low, and then we put in this this high, this buy signal really is what you can call it. This actually goes outside down, yeah, or sorry, outside up. This one goes down and then up. We are now at the top of this level, but we end up flipping that over here. So if you're not in here, this is your above this bar on this one, and it's kind of tricky to take because the subsequent bar takes a one tick to the 50 cents down to the low side, but it doesn't break through and it doesn't continue the propulsion underneath here. So I think it's somewhat reasonable to take along here, and you can kind of put a stop underneath this level, or maybe underneath this level, or the low of the day. Any of these would have been fine. None of them actually get touched ever again throughout the day. This is the only level that ever gets touched again. So we push again, still to the high of the level, and now it's kind of clear that we're getting into a channel. And once we're back up at this level, because this is now about midway point of this move down, it's starting to become clear that we probably are in some sort of maybe like a horizontal range or something like that, with that being the high, and we've tapped this low a few times and we've been here, so we're probably pretty reasonably likely to get to this level. So I think everybody's it's kind of an always in long situation, but it's weak. It's not impulsive. So as we can see, this ends up channeling for this far, and once we get to this point, it should be pretty clear that you want to be looking for some sort of long. So we get a pullback here. This pushes up here. This would have been the buy signal here. We don't break above it. We get this inside bar, which is another great setup, but we don't break above it, and we end up putting in a second push down. So now we have 1, 2 down, double bottom, and then we get this nice bar, reversal bar here, and this is the follow through bar, and this is yet another buy signal. So let me put I think it just makes sense to be putting arrows at places that we can make buys. So this, we couldn't really make a buy. There was no buy above it, and we were also at the top of the channel, so you wanted to wait for the pullback. That's why when we get to this kind of thing, we start looking for you buy above any bar, and we end up buying. We got this bar above here, and you buy above this one because this is a nice shaved bar, shave at the bottom, shave at the top, all buying the whole time. And then nice, great pump through here. This was a little inside bar that you could have taken a buy, but there's too much overlap between this bar, and this bar. 3 bars of overlap, and then this is actually the 4th bar of overlap. Probably not the best buy, and it ends up petering out, almost like a spike in mini channel that peters out and comes back to this level. So none of these really are good. I wouldn't really say any of these are. Maybe a buy above this bar. Maybe just because we have this strong push down and we're looking for possibly a double bottom, and this is a nice reversal bar. So when we break above this bar, you can take a long right at this level. Oops. Like right above here kind of thing. Then of course you get a long above this level, and then you get a long above this level. Okay. So now we're in yet another pullback. This is now a pullback testing this level, this high. So you can get in long above this bar as well, which has a really nice pump. Little bit of an inside bar, but we're on the top side of this channel, and we're also at the high here. We've also taken the high of this potential trading range. So maybe you want to be a little bit more careful there. It pulls back. Now we're starting to get to, this is theoretically a buy here, I guess, but it might be a little bit tougher to take since the dump from here is relatively large compared to what other dumps we've been having from the high to this level. So maybe you don't want to take, maybe we don't take this trade, even though it does work out. And then we get this next thing over here, but now we're getting to the point where we have sideways, a lot of sideways overlap kind of thing, right? And this is also overlap within the high of this bar. So maybe not really wanted to take this trade here. And we finally get to the top of the channel. And that's kind of the end of the party here. I don't think that this is a sell bar. I don't think this is a bar that you can short. Because if you could short this bar thinking that you were at the top, then you probably would have shorted this bar thinking you were at the top. More realistically, you would short this bar underneath this bar, which I guess technically it does take for $3, and then it goes outside up. So that would have not worked out for you. Probably would have been better to wait for really a show of strength from bears to like not just breaking this micro trend line and then following it up with a second leg up, but probably breaking this major trend line. So when we get this bar, this is maybe a bit of a better bar to short. But what is your expectation? This channel has been so strong, and now we're at the bottom of the channel, so you're probably not going to short this bar either. Same thing with this. Now we're through the low of the channel. Probably would rather wait for some sort of pullback to maybe double top here at 40,200 before you take a short to the downside. So now we get one push down, a little bit of a flag, second push down. Now we have two pushes down. This was your high 1. This bar right here is the high 1. This bar here is your high 2. So this would be your entry bar right there with the stop underneath this level, and probably expecting a push back up to this 40,200 level. There's not really much there, so you're not going to take this trade. And even with these ones, right, like these ones are just taking the trade to remain in the channel. There's not even a percent to be made here unless you enter down here. So none of these are really necessarily great entries in the grand scheme of like how much money you're going to make. But I think that if we're talking about looking at a channel and seeing how far an expansive a channel can continue, these are relatively early entries within the channel, right? This is the latest entry, and it's still like at least a third of the channel left to go. So that if this was like a 5% channel instead of a 1% channel, there's probably going to be some money to be made. So that's why we're considering these as entries. And it would be the same thing with a like on this entry here with a more volatile instrument, but in this case, it's not really working that way. We get this nice follow through here, but then, like I said, again, we have some sort of sideways overlap on 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive bars. So above here, this ends up failing, and this ends up looking like a pullback. So this bar ends up being shortable. You can short underneath here, even though this is kind of like a channel, but this kind of channel is a channel following this, which might look like a spike, kind of like a spike in channel kind of thing. And this kind of overlappy channel is really not what you want to see as a follow through if we're going to continue higher. So this makes sense as a short. We get some good follow through on the short side. We get some decent little flagging that tries to put in a new bull thing. You get this as your high 3. No, this was your high 2. So this is really kind of a pullback from that high 2. Fails immediately. There's no entry here. And we go all the way down here. We get a decent little bar, nothing too special. This looks like a better follow through bar. Theoretically, you have this as your high 3. We don't really like high 3s, so we're going to ignore this. Pushes down. We do a little bit of a double bottom action here. This is a good small bar. This is a good small bar at the bottom of the range, which again can be extended all the way from here. And as you can see here, trading range. So this is at the bottom of a trading range, decent signal bar, and you can go long here. If you don't go long on this bar on the break of this, you go long on the break of this. And this is the actual trade. This is the only trade here that's really resulted in any sort of climactic impulsive movement. So we take a new high of the day, which is getting close to this level here, right? Just at the bottom kind of this level here, where we had some sort of consolidation in the previous move, and hoping now that we can continue to push up towards maybe the high of this level, because now this could be a sideways trading range. I think by this time, it's pretty clear we have enough momentum here that getting back to kind of the middle of this range, this last consolidation of this area, that it's very reasonable that we might start pushing up towards this high, and that this was people trying to short the bottom of the range. Okay, so this tells you to get out. You kind of get out here. Um, by the way, these are just entries. We're looking for entries primarily. Maybe some exits. Like if you enter here and you don't get out up here, this is probably where you're going to get out. If you enter here and you don't get out, I mean, this is probably where you're going to get out. So now we have this weird sideways range here. Not much to do here. It's kind of a retest kind of thing. I wouldn't really take any of these trades, but I guess you can short this level, sell this level rather, underneath this bar. So if you get in here and you don't get out, you probably get out underneath this bar. Now it's like very, very, very like all of this is overlapping. Weird feeling. And again, we're back at this level, the high of this level, our previous day's high. This is junk. This is all junk here. This is basically barbed wire, kind of like a potential final flag because it's so extended compared to this is just 3 bars here, and then you have like 15 bars of sideways, tight trading range. So because it's kind of barbed wire, we get a break out of the thing, and of course we're going to break right back in. We kind of have this whole trading range to the side. We're starting to put in some sort of potentially bullish momentum. It looks like there's some buying pressure down here. It looks like there's some buying pressure here, some buying pressure here, and then we get this strong pump candle, a little bit of a pullback, and then this is your follow-through candle above this bar, and this is all you get. Not really much of a trade to take. And then certainly when this happens, this is a reversal, great reversal setup here. These two twin bars here form a good reversal, and then that ends up taking you all the way down here. So we had this kind of trading range above this level here that kind of has held. This is the low here. It kind of keeps holding, and then more channeling here. Not really. It looks kind of junky, right? It's kind of hard to build this channel, maybe something like this, but it really involves you having to make all of this here. But at this point, now you're just seeing like trading range activity. So at some point, you just have to get into the thing of, we're just gonna buy near the bottom and sell near the top. So that ends up kind of happening here. We start to make more pronounced movements with this pump and then this dump through the low. But this could be the last. This could very easily be the end of the move, or the beginning of the end of the move, rather. So we get this push that breaks this trend line, this micro trend line, one more final climactic dump through, and then beautiful reversal signal here. These twins following the 2 down, and this weird channeling thing. We're again near the low. How about this low right here as well? That is continually respected. So above this bar is an easy buy. If you don't get this bar above this bar that has the shaved top, it's a great buy. If you don't get this one, now we're back up here. At some point you have to take the trade, right? I think we're also kind of at a point on a higher time frame where we're looking for longs because of the strength that we've seen here, the strength that we've seen here, the fact that we keep on putting in higher lows after higher low, and we're at a point where we're probably looking to buy above any bar. So when we break this level, we're buying. When we break this level, we're buying, and hence this massive buy candle puts in this great high up here. This is decent. I mean, this is still pretty high on the midpoint of the bar is like here, so we're still above the midpoint of the bar. So probably not looking to necessarily exit. Now this looks like we have 2, 1 push down, second push down. Let me draw it in case it's hard to follow on the thing. 1 push down, second push down. This is your you're long, this is really your high one. This was kind of your high one, but it's a junky high one. And it because it's such a junky high one, we kind of can say like we have this type of consolidation here, and that makes this not a great buy here. Does that make sense? Especially because we also have all of this, again, a lot of overlap here, a lot of overlap. So this is not really a great buy. I don't like this buy, and it looks like the market also didn't like this buy. They don't accept the buy. Oops. And we top out here. And at this point, this is your signal. You got to get out. If you're still in the trade, be gone. You could probably even take it underneath this bar because this is the second follow through, push up to the top of what is like a horizontal trading range. So it's a small bar near the top of the range. You can take the short underneath it / close the long underneath it. And if you don't, you take the short / close the long underneath this bar. This bar is effectively an inside bar. So if you miss it on this one, you can take it on this one as well. And you probably, because it's not actually an inside bar, maybe you don't put your stop above it. If you keep the stop above this level, that is pretty clear. And now we have 1, 2 pushes down. That makes a lot more sense. And I think this is where the final channel of the day begins. Oh, we don't even channel. Okay. But we do have a kind of climactic close here. Climactic dump here. Small bar, bar pushing up. This is a long here. This is outside down. No, this is not outside down. This is an inside bar. It's kind of an inside bar, kind of not. You can buy above this level here. So this would be above this bar. We get back up to this level. This was the highest close that we had. So this is a reasonable place to get out. If you're not out, again, great reversal, twin reversal here. If you notice, a lot of these reversals are these twin type of things. So be on the lookout for those. And from there begins this dump. And now I would say the rest of this is mostly barbed wire, but probably inclined to be looking for longs at kind of these lows, like these levels that we kind of sit at forever, because we have this kind of channel. We kind of break the channel on decent momentum. It's basically barbed wire, but we come back here. This bar is the one. This is the bar, small inside bar. Doesn't break below it. We break above it here. So buy above this bar or buy above this bar if you don't want to use the red bar as your signal bar. And then it's just kind of a hold. You just kind of got to keep holding. And I think, let's take a look on the higher time frame. The higher time frame manifests as just kind of this channel the whole day. So all of these are a little bit of looking for buys within. Let me make this more clear here. Let's put this channel here. All of these are buys within the channel. So ultimately, every buy near the low of this is a good buy. And just keep holding and waiting for some sort of break to the upside. Okay, yeah, this is kind of tough. Like I said, I'm not the best at channel trading and sideways trading, range trading, but I think this is decent. I think on the higher time frames, if you notice and you acknowledge, hey, we're looking like we're in like some sort of channel, like here, right? Even if not waiting all of this out, it starts to make sense. Like, okay, let's go on the lower time frames and look for, good entries that kind of fit this channel narrative. And just like with this channel that was down here that lasted very long, surely this channel will potentially last longer than we expect it to. Now we have some good momentum here, but this is a different time frame. So yeah, that's the trades of the day. Thanks.